meters. So when you talk about funk music, right, you got to go back to the 1960s and how it kind of started all with James Brown. And but you know, the Meters had their own sort of style of funk in that same time period. And they're from New Orleans, and I think that had a big influence on, you know, their funk. We're going to take a look at a couple of grooves of theirs today, featuring the great bass work by George Porter Jr. And, you know, the tunes are instrumental tunes, and they're not complicated, right? They're not super involved in terms of bass performance, or any of the instruments really. You know, organ, guitar, drums, and bass. The drums, though, played by Zigaboo Modalist. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Man, they're like the lead instrument, you know, in this band, and I could listen to this stuff all day long. Let me show you what I mean. We'll start with a tune called Funky Miracle. Okay, so there's three little sections to the song, three little riffs, right? The intro riff, which starts with just the bass and the drums. And I mean, right there, that just sets up the groove, sets up the mood of the tune. And it's got like such a swing to it, you know? It's not like a straight... It... Now, those notes, it's just the G major pentatonic scale, right? But, you know, the thing is, when riff number 2 comes in, which is... So now we're hanging out on E. So this intro thing is really more like E minor pentatonic. You see? Okay, so riff number 2, E. Now that's a classic Meters type line where you're playing like the octave and you're going down to like the minor third, which is G in this case, but you're giving it just a little bit of a bend there, a little bit of a push just to give it some grease. You know, that's great. And then what would be kind of like riff number 3, I think of it almost like the chorus of the song, even though there's no vocal. It's that. Right, and it's just the organ comes up in volume, the drums full of energy, and it's just really just pushes the thing forward. This is a great tune, Funky Miracle it's called. Let's try another song. This one's called Look a Pie Pie. those drums. You've all heard drums like that, in the past bunch of years, but you would never have heard them played that way before this. I mean, that just set a whole standard of playing, a whole style just came to life right there. And, it's funny because it's like you've got like that break, but the thing is, harmonically, there's hardly anything. It's a G7. They loved this type of thing where it was like, minor third to major third, just like a blues thing. And then this. Root, 7, 5th, root. And again, with that sort of swing element to it. Then it just goes to an F7 chord. Right? Couldn't get any simpler than that. Great tune. And any discussion of the meters wouldn't be complete without their most famous tune, which is Sissy Strut. All-time classic. Let's check it out. Two parts to this riff, right? You got the main riff. All right, so let's go over that. So C, B flat, G, E flat, which is that classic thing we just did. You pull the minor third up just a little bit, down to C, right? And then, now if I wanted to complicate this, I would tell you that's the Dorian mode, the C Dorian mode. And it is. And Dorian mode's a classic sort of sound to play in funk. But I'm sure they weren't thinking that way. It's like a minor pentatonic lick with that. I mean, it's kind of like a Motown lick, right? So you combine those two, you get a pretty unique tone. And I've heard people play that part differently, but that's what's on the original. C, G, C, G. That's how it goes. And you got to get that swing, that bounce to get it just right to fit in the groove there. All right. And then there's the secondary riff, which is this. There's that line again. They love that line. But watch what the drums do in this section. It's great. While the band is just hanging out on, Let's check out the drums. So. I gotta listen to that all day. So, you got this. And the drums are playing a pretty syncopated, complicated pattern there. But then as soon as there's space, what does he do? And that's it. He could have filled up those two beats with a ton of, sound. But he chose the groove. I was busy a couple of seconds ago. Now I got space. Let me show you where the beat is. And that's it, right? Now, I've had the opportunity to play this tune a whole bunch in years past. And whenever I did, we'd always change it up a little bit. I mean, I never played it exactly the way it was on the original recording. And one thing I remember, one band I had that used to play it, we used to do this thing where we'd play the main riff, or whatever, and for the secondary riff, I'd go up we'd all go up a minor third to E flat. So you check it out. And so on. And it just really changed the mood. It gave it like a real big uplift, kind of thing. And I wasn't the one who thought of that. I don't know where we got that from. I think maybe the keyboard player probably thought of it. I don't know where he got it from. But, I've heard people do pretty cool things, with this riff. And, if you're not familiar with the meters, whether, you're a bass player, a guitarist, keyboardist, drummer, or saxophonist for that matter, doesn't really matter. I would recommend, checking out some of their tunes, learning the original, parts, and then, really just playing to the recordings a lot. Because I can't think of a better thing to improve your groove than to play with these guys. I mean, it's, and then, right, once you've done that, you find some musicians to play with, you get together, pick a couple of tunes like this, and then you could do them your own way. You don't have to follow the script, as what was done on the original. And, but I really do think that you learn a lot from learning the original parts first. Do that first. And do it a lot. Play this tune to the original recording, any of these tunes, just a lot. Develop your time feel. Develop your ears to hear what is going on in the songs. And then you can go and improvise and do your own stuff with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit about the meters. So many great tunes to check out. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, please consider subscribing to my channel, and there'll be more videos like this to come. Thanks for watching.